Ladies and gentlemen, this is the big one, the final episode here today of our Total Extreme Wrestling series of TNA 2007. This is Bound for Glory. I'm BrendenPlayz, and welcome to this edition of the series. It is a big one, our second Bound for Glory in the series to date, and what will be most likely our final episode. Now, we may do another episode where we recap some of the high moments and kind of check out who performed really well throughout the series. That's something we might do to wrap things up, but this is definitely the last time we'll be booking a show in the series. And we've already got it all booked and ready to go, but first we need to show you some of the build-up towards the show. We had one more show to book before we got to Bound for Glory, with just a quick little recap of the last few episodes. You know, we had a big moment with the Main Event Mafia trying to recruit Samoa Joe, who turned babyface. He decided he's going to, go against the Main Event Mafia, but he was all alone. He got beaten up for his efforts. Homicide became the number one contender for the X Division Championship. We had a triple threat being made between the Hardys, America's Most Wanted, and Fallen Angel and Frankie Kazarian. We kept moving on, where we had some other big moments, such as Brock Lesnar making his TNA debut. Abyss interrupted him, and they had a big brawl take place. And that's going to be an interesting match. I don't know how that's going to go. Could go really well, could go really bad, who knows. But I think that's going to be one to really watch for. What else did we have going on here? So we had the Main Event Mafia state that Samoa Joe's outnumbered, and that he cannot stop them. So Samoa Joe recruited a couple of friends. He got the Dudleys, Team 3D, to join up with Samoa Joe to make it a 4-on-3 match at Bound for Glory. So it'll still give the Main Event Mafia the advantage, but Joe does have some backup and gives the Team 3D a good slot at Bound for Glory. AJ Styles had a huge win over A-Train, 92 rated match that was. Lashley and Goldberg had one big final standoff between the two. And so we kept moving along with that. Lesnar called out Abyss, who came from underneath the ring to attack Lesnar from behind. So that was also a big moment as well. And then finally, the last show, the one we booked off video, we had a 95 rated show. So the ones leading in, we had a 91, a 94, a little bit further back, another 94. So to get a 95 was really good. I was really happy with how we performed. So we had a face-to-face kind of promo between Styles and Hassan. Our GM, Roddy Piper, was out there. The Commissioner, Roddy Piper, was out there too. Homicide got a win over Austin Aries, and then he was starting to get beaten down by the Machine Guns until his tag partner, Chavo Guerrero, came out for the save. A 2-on-1 attack it was, but that was gone thanks to Chavo's save. Heyman hyped up Lashley and Goldberg a little bit further. We had Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy and The Addiction defeat the America's Most Wanted and Team Canada in a big match there. 92 rated that was, and that 8-man tag. Main Event Mafia and Samoa Joe and Team 3D, they had a back and forth promo with Joe and 3D in the ring. Main Event Mafia up on the stage, not willing to fight just yet. Lita got a victory over Molly Holly, and then Lita started to abuse Molly Holly and slap her around a bit, beat her up a bit more, just to send a message to Melina. And then we had a main event of Matt Morgan and Christian teaming up to take on Chris Jericho and Shinsegae Nakamura. 95 rated, and this actually was quite an interesting one. Chris Jericho had a 100 rated performance. Nakamura had 98 because Jericho and Nakamura had excellent chemistry together. That surprised me quite a lot, but I mean, I tell you what, they would be an awesome tag team if we could keep on playing. So, many of you have requested that I should upload the save file so you guys can keep on playing. So if you want to do that, I will upload it and I will make it available in the description down below for you guys. And that way you can keep on playing after Bound for Glory. And like I said, Jericho and Nakamura, there's a great tag team idea for you there. Explosion, we had Lashley got a quick victory over Road Dogg. Lashley, 94 rated in-ring performance. Paul Heyman continued to hype up Lashley and Goldberg again. CM Punk got a victory over Shannon Moore. Punk was really good, 77. He continues to perform really well. Again, if you had another year or two, CM Punk would definitely be one of those guys that you'd start to really push heavily. And no surprise, we know how good CM Punk is. Melina hyped up a match against Amy DeMar. So we changed Lita to Amy. I figured, I don't know, I just kind of looked at it and said, I don't think it should be Lita. I think we should have a different name to separate from WWE. And that was also something I was thinking about not long ago, looking at all the names we had in TNA and how we used a lot of the WWE names in TNA, how we probably should have created our own names, maybe a different Muhammad Hassan name, for example. So I figured that's something that I think is not the worst idea to try and employ. Certainly if you're playing your own playthrough, if you can come up with some other names, or there is other names of the wrestler that you're using, give it a go. So we're going back to Amy for Lita, her real name. And then the Machine Guns defeated Chavo and Homicide by cheating in the main event of Explosion. So that was a bit of a carryover from Impact, where Chavo saved. We've had the match before, but it was a nice way to get Homicide and Shelley involved without being a one-on-one, and also to give us one last good match before Bound for Glory. And speaking of Bound for Glory, we are all set and ready to go for Bound for Glory. The card is fully booked. Majority of the roster do have a match, so I think that was imperative that basically nearly everyone got themselves a chance to be a part of the show. So we've tried our best to make that happen. Heading into Bound for Glory, you can see this is pretty important, the storyline heat. So Christian and Jericho at 95, which is crucial to their success. It has been a feud that's been going on since Slammiversary. It's been a long feud. They've already had 3 singles matches together. I believe one of them was a DQ or a draw or something like that. Yeah, it's been a long feud, but it's something that I think deserves to be wrapped up here at Bound for Glory. 86 for the Hardys, America's Most Wanted Addiction. Would like this to be around the 90 mark, but considering who's involved, it's not too bad. Hassan and Styles, probably our main event, 93, crucial for our overall success of the show. Homicide and Shelley, 92, really good. Lashley and Goldberg's been going on since Slammiversary, well, and they've never even had a match. It's been such a long-term feud that we just kind of do one thing a month or 2 things a month for, and we've been able to drag it on this long and keep the heat at 93, which is pretty impressive. Lesnar and Abyss just starting out at 85. Lita and Melina 82, which is good for the knockouts. Main Event Mafia and Samoa Joe, of course 3D involved as well, 90. Morgan and Nakamura, again another very, very long-term feud that will finally culminate here, 89. And the other ones probably won't feature at Bound for Glory, the exhibition matches there. So the storyline heat coming in is strong for most matches. I think every match is pretty good. So hopefully that's good enough for us to get across the line and really have a strong show overall. I think it would be really disappointing if we don't hit that. I don't know if we're going to hit 100 or, I'd just like to beat 96. It'd be great if we get 97, 98, something like that. Just have our best show of the series. And we probably should. We've got a really good roster at the moment. I definitely believe we should be getting there. But will we get there? Well, time will tell. So let's get into it. Let's start Bound for Glory. The show is completely booked. We've got 300 minutes as a 5-hour show. So it's a long one. It's a long one, but it's Bound for Glory. It's got to be. And in terms of pre-show, we only have one pre-show match, and there was just the knockouts on there. We were able to find time to put a Battle Royal on the main show, which was definitely going to be planned for the pre-show, but we had a lot of spare time, actually. I think we probably had a good half an hour left over that we had to kind of, allocate elsewhere. So we definitely went under. Considering the big matches we had, I was surprised we did that, but we don't really have, we don't have a hell of a lot of matches when you think about it. We're probably 1 or 2 matches short of what we could have been to really overload the card. But, we squeezed a Battle Royal on there to do that. Alright, so let's get into Bound for Glory. Let's see some of the results. So we started things off with the knockouts in an 8-woman tag match. Obviously a way to get them all on the card. They haven't really been featured too much. We've just been putting all the focus on Lita and Melina. But not a bad match in the end. 78 for a pre-show, but a pre-show tag is really good. Everyone except for Sarah Del Rey performed really well. And most of these women getting 70 plus, which is really, really promising actually for the future of the knockouts. It's been a really difficult thing for us. We've had to really rely on Melina, definitely to carry the division, whilst the other, Gail Kidd was there as well, but whilst the other knockouts was starting to develop, obviously we brought in Lita now, which has helped a bit more as well. So we're starting to build something nice here with our knockouts, and this is quite promising with the performances that they've got here. We started off the show with a 99 rated match. That's one way to start the show. TLC, The Addiction, the Hardy Boys and America's Most Wanted. The Hardy Boys got the victory, so we decided to give them the Tag Team Championships to give them that run. So TLC, it was a late change. I figured, well, how can we make this even more special? TLC. You know, I definitely believe, I suppose when you think about it, you know, Edge and Christian and the Dudleys, you know, I guess you could probably say Kazarian and Fallen Angel, probably the Edge and Christian of the thing. You know, Angel and James Storm, maybe the Dudleys with a bit more size and more of a brawler, and obviously the Hardy Boys in there. So it's not a surprise that this is a really good combination. Everyone in the match did really well, 90 plus for everyone except for Kazarian, but still performed at 86, which is still solid. Jeff Hardy, 100, was the best in the match. Chris Harris, the second best, 97, can you believe that? 99 rated, so that's a fantastic way to start things off with a victory for Matt and Jeff Hardy. Matt Morgan had a promo, 89, hoping up his match against Nakamura, which is coming up next. And that was a 91 rated match. So Shinsegae Nakamura won the Global Championship. It's been a long time in the making, but he finally wins it. Nakamura 91, Matt Morgan 89. So there you go, 91 overall matchup. Nakamura is at that point where he's definitely a star. He definitely deserves a run with this championship. And obviously, his performances are good enough to warrant it. So Matt Morgan has been fantastic. He's had the championship a couple of times now and has had the title for the majority of the year. He has been great. I don't know what you would do next with him. Would you move him up to the main event and try and make him the top guy there? Or would you keep him around this, maybe feud with Nakamura a little bit further, or just kind of feud with another upper mid-card name? You know, Fallen Angel or something like that would be a good feud. But I'm not sure. 91 anyways. Good match. We then had an angle where Roddy Piper came out and said, hey, we're going to have our Knockouts Championship match, but we have a surprise, a late addition to the match. Mickie James has been added into the match. So I figured, look, we've got Mickie James. Why not have a Bound for Glory surprise? Lita's there. We don't know how good Lita's going to perform on the big stage. Melina, definitely solid, but Lita, who knows? And we've got Mickie James, 65 pop. We may as well utilize her, put her in there. And we did. And we're going to make her a heel. Originally, I wanted her to be babyface, but I then had a further look at our heels and babyfaces. And Lita's our top heel with Gail Kim there as well, which is strong. But the rest were really poor from then on. You know, Awesome Kong's there, and she'd be someone that you definitely build towards. Beth Phoenix there as well. But it's a little bit weak elsewhere in terms of who could be the top heel. Gail Kim's already done it so much. You know, I think Mickie James could be that perfect replacement to be that top heel going forward. And then, obviously, on the babyface side of things, you've got Melina. She's there. And then Rebecca Knox is coming through, Natalia's coming through. Really good performances out of them, so you could definitely elevate those. Molly Holly's there, Christy Hemme, lots more baby faces there. So definitely more of an opportunity for Mickie James, who works as a heel and baby face just as good. And her gimmick was very good. We gave her a Psycho Jealous Woman gimmick, very similar to what she did with the Trish Stratus thing in WWE. I figured that was a good, good fit, and she could kind of be jealous of Melina and her success, perhaps. 91 anyways for her debut segment. The match itself, 75. There you go. So Mickie James actually the worst in the match. There you go. 73. Amy got 76. Melina 87, 75 rated, but we actually gave Mickie James the championship. So we wanted this to be the big title change. Melina's been champion for an entire year, I believe. Bound for Glory to Bound for Glory. It was time for her to drop the championship. I just didn't have the confidence in Lita and Amy to go all the way with it and give her the championship. Definitely in the future, I would give her the championship, but I just, at the moment, had a bit of cold feet. Now, she did perform at a 76, which is good, but let's not forget she has 73 pop. Well, Mickie James has 65. If we swap that around, definitely Mickie James would be more towards the 80 mark rather than 73. So give Mickie James a couple more opportunities to prove herself. She'll definitely be much further up there. And 75 was good. Melina carried. We could only do a 13-minute match because the stamina of both Amy and Mickie were pretty poor, actually. So that's something I think definitely needs to be adjusted. Certainly for Mickie James, maybe for Lita, keep it as is. But there you go, 75 for the women. Thought it could have been better, but it achieved its purpose. Afterwards, we had Mickie James in an interview, and she taunted Melina. So that was a way to kind of get Mickie James in, have a promo, and that was a way to kind of express her as a heel, because she could have been coming in, the surprise, you could treat her as a babyface, and in the promo afterwards, that way you establish her as a heel and also carry it over into the next Impact, where you've got a little bit there between Mickie James and Melina to go off in the future. Coming up next, Abyss and Brock Lesnar, 90 rated for the hype video. I have no idea how this is going to go. Abyss, one of our most reliable, dependable performers. Brock Lesnar, he's got terrific stats, so this should technically go well. I didn't give it a huge amount of time, I think around the 20-minute mark, which could cost me. I probably should have given it a couple more minutes maybe, but we'll see. 87 rated, so it was actually 17 minutes and 30 seconds, so I thought I was looking towards around the 18-19 minute mark, because I think Abyss's stamina at times, if he goes a little bit too long, costs his performance. So Abyss 95, Brock Lesnar only 80. And that surprises me greatly that Lesnar was really poor, and he was penalized for being rusty. So clearly Lesnar hasn't been working a lot, which is, fair enough. So a little bit rusty. And I didn't think about that, but he's on loan, so we didn't really have a chance to kind of get the rust out of him. And we wanted this to be a special, one-off match. And Abyss got the victory, and Abyss being the heel, he cheated to win. We gave that as a dirty cheat finish because we didn't want to have Lesnar's star power ruined, and that would continue to keep the door open for Lesnar in the future for another match. You don't want to have him come in, lose clean, and if you tried to bring him back, he just wouldn't be, wouldn't have that star power or mystique about him. So he lost. Yes, Abyss gets the win to put over our guy, but we did it in a way where hopefully we protect Lesnar just a little bit further. Afterwards, we had Lesnar lay Abyss out, so he laid him out with the F5 just to get a bit of his heat back. So it kind of works out 50-50. Someone had to lose. We wanted Abyss to win because he's our top guy. He's our top heel. So we wanted to protect Abyss, but we also wanted to keep our relationship with Brock Lesnar solid, and also, keep Lesnar looking strong. If we wanted to use him again for Slammiversary or something like that, we definitely could. So 90 rated for that. Alex Shelley and Homicide for the X Division Championship, 93 rated. Shelley 91, Homicide 89. Homicide won the X Division Championship. We decided it was time to switch hands, and Shelley's had it a couple times now. Homicide's been a guy who has been so reliable for us in the X Division for such a long period of time. Deserves a run with the championship. Had to turn face to do it, but he got there in the end. 89. Shelley has 81 popularity. Homicide 73. So that was probably why Shelley was a little bit higher up in performance. Homicide, if we can get him to 80 pop, would definitely would start really having some tremendous matches. But 93 is obviously excellent already, and a great way to kind of change hands with the championship. 93, Homicide wins the championship. We had a promo with Ric Flair, Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, and Sting, hyping up a match between Team 3D and Samoa Joe. 92 rated. 92 rated there. So this is the big 3-on-4 match. Now, I have no idea how this is going to go. Samoa Joe and the Dudleys should carry it pretty well. This will also be Ric Flair's in-ring debut. First time we're having him have a match. So that's also something pretty special for Bound for Glory. Scott Steiner's been decent. Jeff Jarrett will obviously carry his team. Sting hasn't been the best. So you probably would be hoping this could hit 80, but who knows? Let's take a look. 79, so nearly 80. So definitely look at the carry from the Babyface team. Brother Ray, 86. Stevon, 88. Joe, 97. Sting, 68. Jarrett, 94. Ric Flair, 66. Scott Steiner, 82. So yeah, just Sting and Flair struggling a little bit. But for the most part, that's still pretty good from those guys. Jarrett and Steiner good enough to carry their side of things. The main event Mafia did win though. Scott Steiner pinned Brother Devon. I thought Steiner was a good pick. Jeff Jarrett or Steiner, really, they're the two, workers in the group at the moment. with Sting really bad. Sting, again, needs another buff. I think he's 68 is really below what he can produce. I think he should be hitting 75s, to be honest. So if you're going to take over this, I would definitely buff Sting up again. Ric Flair 66 is fair enough. At this stage of the game, 66, fair enough from Ric Flair. But that's also decent, and it's not a bad way to utilize Flair. We gave the Main Event Mafia the win because they're still a pretty new group, and they haven't really had many wins, losing to Muhammad Hassan a couple times. So they needed a big win just to kind of legitimize them, and this is a good way to highlight Joe anyways. And it's obviously worked. Joe's popularity's gone through the roof just by angles with this group, so it's worked out anyways. So Joe's already gained popularity. He doesn't matter if he really loses. He's already gained so much, but the Main Event Mafia need a win to, legitimize the group. Jericho and Christian promo, 90 rated for the hype. This has got a lot of time, I believe half an hour, so we're hoping we can have this really hit high ratings. It's hit a 99 before, I believe, so we're hoping this one really succeeds. So this is our, technical match of the show, I suppose you could say. The wrestler, the hardcore fans' dream match, I suppose. It's been a long feud. Obviously, we've already seen the match a few times, but this is a culmination of a long-term feud, a good story, where the two met quite a lot in the Bound for Glory series as well. Back and forth, both trying to get that world championship, both failing, but also at the same time crossing paths with each other and having that hatred for each other for such a long period of time, and just culminating with a big feud, a big Bound for Glory match here. So let's have a look. Hopefully this does deliver. 99. So there you go again. Another big match. 99 just couldn't quite crack the 100. And I don't know why we can't get there. I made this a 2 out of 3 falls match, obviously being the fact that they've had a few matches already. And it being a half an hour match, having a 2 out of 3 falls match just adds a little bit more excitement to it rather than just kind of waiting half an hour for the one fall. You can have a couple of falls take place throughout the match and then have that last big fall at the end mean that a little bit more. So Chris Jericho got the victory. I feel like the Bayface should probably come out on top after all this that Christian's going to put Jericho through, and I felt like that was the way to go there. 99 in the end, Jericho 97, Christian 94, 99 rated match. Very happy about that. I feel like that was the way to go. Now, originally, the plan all along was for Chris Jericho to win the Bound for Glory series, but last second we changed plans to AJ Styles. It was always going to be Jericho in the main event versus Muhammad Hassan, but I felt like it was better that we utilized one of our own homegrown stars in AJ Styles rather than a WWE star coming over in Chris Jericho. I felt like that was a better way to kind of have Bound for Glory. And this way, we still had a huge high-profile match with Jericho with Christian, but this was not the plan, obviously. So the reason why we did this match again is because we had really nothing else for both these guys to do, and there's still so much behind this match. So yeah, it was meant to be Jericho and Hassan 100%, but the last second, basically, I changed plans, went with Styles instead. Will it pay off? I don't know. Jericho had a 97 here. We're going to definitely use that 97 in the main event later on, so we'll find out if Styles was the better pick. But yeah, Jericho got the win here. Afterwards, Jericho tried to shake the hand of Christian, who just was not interested. Doesn't matter what these two have been through, Christian was not happy and just won't admit that Chris Jericho got the better of him. We then had the Battle Royal matchup. We had a lot of guys. The final four were Tanahashi, Rhino, Chris Sabin, and A-Train. We gave A-Train the victory just because he's the most popular guy out of everyone here. And also A-Train, we've just treated him so badly. It's horrible how we've treated him, really. But the people in this match, can we find that out here? We had A-Train, Aries, Billy Gunn, Cesaro, Chavo, Chris Hero, CM Punk, Tanahashi, Jay Lethal, Kenta, Kevin Thorne, Monty Brown, Paul London, Rhino, Road Dogg, Roderick Strong, R-Truth, and Test. Probably a couple more there, maybe. But yeah, so 79, it was what it was, just a way to get everybody on the card. 15-minute battle royal, A-Train with the victory. Hyped up Goldberg and Lashley. God knows how this is going to go. It's only going to be a 10-minute match because Goldberg's stamina is so poor. But yeah, so it's a 10-minute match. Goldberg and Lashley just kind of one of those car crash brawls, just beat the crap out of each other real quick and get out of there. So let's take a look. 78. So we made it a street fight in the end. I forgot about that, but we did make it a street fight. Goldberg was still tied towards the end despite it being 10 minutes. Lashley, though, was good, 91. Goldberg, 77. That's pretty good for his standards. Lack of psychology shown, lack of selling shown. We kind of thought that would happen. But 78 in the end was okay. The whole purpose was to get Lashley a win over Goldberg. But obviously, as we said last episode, by the time we got to this match, Lashley had already gained so much popularity that the win really didn't mean that much. But Goldberg, I don't think we're renewing his contract. I'm not sure. So we're going to probably let him go. So with that, we wanted to have Lashley go over Goldberg to get that big win. And that was Goldberg's first loss here in TNA. He's been undefeated so far. So Goldberg's first singles loss here. 78 was the result. Actually, no. Yeah, Muhammad Hassan beat him. Yeah, my bad. Muhammad Hassan beat Goldberg at Summerversary, but obviously that was due to Lashley interference. So yeah, it's a Goldberg's loss before, but obviously first clean, fair and square loss. Afterwards, Goldberg got beaten down. It says Goldberg celebrating victory, but he wasn't. Lashley beat the crap out of Goldberg a little bit more. So it was not enough that he already beat him. He wanted to beat him up a little bit further, and that was simply, well, we already had Lashley win. Let's give him even more heat. Let's, put him over even more, as much as we can. And Goldberg's on his way out, so let's make Lashley look like $1 million as much as we possibly can. So we can replace Goldberg with Lashley, essentially, and 89 out of that. And then we had a Legends segment, which was cool. I wanted to kind of put the Legends on the show. We had plenty of time to fill up as well. So I looked at our alliances and wanted to see who we could bring in from talent trades. So we had Dusty Rhodes and Bret Hart from our developmental, their trainers down there. We had Kevin Nash from New Japan, Ken Shamrock from Noah, and Vader from CMLL. So we brought 5 of those guys in, and they're out there celebrating the fact that they're in the ring, kind of announcing the ring. They're here. I think we had Kevin Nash in the mic, cutting a promo, just kind of saying it's good to be back here in TNA, blah 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 blah. And then Team Canada came out, interrupted them, got in their face, talked a lot of trash, but in the end, the Legends beat them up. So kind of talking about how they're old and Team Canada's the future, not not you guys. You need to move out of our ring. This is our ring now, etc., etc. Typical heel stuff. Got beat up because of it, and that was a nice, just feel good moment to get the Legends out there. And it's pretty good names there actually. So there you go, 84 rated in the end. And also, a segment like that on Bound for Glory should probably help Team Canada's popularity out, to be honest. Alright, main event time. AJ Styles, Muhammad Hassan. Here is the big one. We've had 2 99 rated matches on this show already. The opener and obviously Jericho and Christian. We are relying heavily on AJ Styles delivering big time here. But Muhammad Hassan has been excellent throughout his run here in TNA. But the last, a little bit, it just hasn't been that great. And I hope that's simply because the opponents he's worked with, Goldberg, in a heel vs heel match with Jeff Jarrett and Sting. So I'm praying that Muhammad Hassan has a real chance here to shine and show us what he can do, because he hasn't really been that brilliant up until now. So let's take a look. Let's see how AJ Styles and Muhammad Hassan fares. The main event of Bound for Glory. Oh, not yet. So, not yet. We have Muhammad Hassan had a spectacular over-the-top entrance. Now the main event. I always forget that we do that sometimes. So 94 for the spectacular over-the-top entrance. So that should help the build towards it a little bit more. Main event, 96. Okay, 96. Very good. Look, not quite 99, but if you're not going to get 99, you want to be as high of a 90 as you possibly can be. And 96 is good. It is good. We had AJ Styles win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So obviously, we wanted to kind of get the belt off Hassan around Summerversary time, but we figured, look, we can hang on a little bit more. There's nobody that really deserves to win the championship that's not in the Bound for Glory series. So around about the time we had the Bound for Glory series starting, I was starting to get a little bit jaded with Muhammad Hassan as champion, but we kind of had to hang in there just simply because it was either you give it to Jeff Jarrett or you just keep the belt on him. And I wanted to keep the belt on Hassan because, you know, Jeff Jarrett, I didn't really want to give him the championship. So we had to wait. And it was obviously going to be either Jericho or Styles. There was going to be that big babyface coming in to win the championship. In the end, it was AJ Styles wins the championship, and that's a pretty impressive rise considering Styles, you know, for quite some time there was kind of floundering a little bit, but he's had a big rise, a huge surge in popularity, and now we can have AJ Styles as our new star here in TNA. Muhammad Hassan, the big bad heel, loses the title, and you probably would have Muhammad Hassan go away for a bit. You might have the return match with Hassan losing again to Styles and doing that. But then you probably would go and have Muhammad Hassan maybe take 3 months off, take 6 months off, or something like that. Take him off TV for a while, bring him back, maybe repackage him, or do something different with him, and just kind of give him a break because he's been on top for so long. But there you go. Styles wins the championship. And now, let's see what rating we get. Can we crack past 96? 2 big matches, but the main event only hitting 96 could cost us. Let's take a look. The Bound for Glory, we have a celebration actually of 88. So the Bound for Glory pay-per-view rating is 100. 100. Yes, we've done it. We've done it. Now, reason being is because this is the first time we've had celebrities and we've spent a bit extra on the stage. We've done a special stage and the celebrities. And that's one of the keys to improving your match, your overall pay-per-view rating. So we've done that. 100 rated, and we finally have cracked it. So that's a perfect way to close things out. 100 rated in what was a pretty strong show. You know, we had 3 really, really good matches on there, and then we had some other good matches. You know, Abyss and Lesnar was pretty good. Nakamura and Matt Morgan, the X Division match was great. So lots of good matches in the end on this card. Most things were pretty strong. I think the women's match was the weakest, but in the end, you've got to be very thrilled about that. We'll give AJ Styles some love there. I believe someone was frustrated that he had to lose. I feel like that might have been Alex Shelley was really annoyed that he had to lose. So I'm going to give him some praise just so he feels a little bit better. And yeah, I might go to Chris Jericho for his good performance there. So we'll do that. And we'll move on. So there you go. That's Bound for Glory, and that's a big show in the end. And we needed that. We really did need that. We needed to have a good way to close everything out and go from there. So I'm really happy with the progression we made there. So we drew 44,000 fans. The feedback has been incredible. Apparently an absolute success. Good chance this show would actually be the pay-per-view or the show of the year. So there's a very good chance that could happen. And I'd like to think so. I would like to think so. So let's have a look. So Earl Hebner is apparently causing a lot of issues. Sarah Del Rey's gone on a tour with her band. She has a band apparently. It's only going to last 2 months. It's not that big of a deal. But, you know, Shannon Moore, he's gone. So his contract's run out. See you later. We don't need him anymore. Vader, 1 night only deal. I think we had Ken Shamrock for 3 appearances, so you can do whatever you want with him if you'd like. And Bound for Glory 0.6 buy rate. I'm not sure where that is. Kevin Nash forging a click. He's only been here for a day or 2. Shelton Benjamin, we tried to sign him, had no luck there, unfortunately. And yeah, ODB also wants to get the call up to the main roster. So there you go. But I just want to quickly check with we had a 0.6 buy rate, 0.46 for No Surrender, Hard Justice 0.57, Victory 0.59, Slammiversary 0.64. So actually, in the end, Bound for Glory didn't draw as well as Slammiversary, despite it being a better show. Slammiversary was really good, very, very good. But yeah, there you go. Interesting. So I'm going to leave it there, but what we will do is we'll do another episode and we'll kind of take a look at all the popularity changes that took place from Bound for Glory, everything like that. Otherwise, this episode's going to go on really, really long. So we'll take a look at that and have that as our big recap episode to close up the series. So thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on it. Make sure you do subscribe to see the last episode and much more TW content coming your way in the near future. Check us out in the forums, BrendenPlayz.com/forums over there for more wrestling. And if you play TW, post up your diary there, post up your save, show us your save. Many others do it there. It's really cool to interact and see all that over there. So make sure you check that out. And with that being said, I hope you enjoy what you've seen here today. It's very good, very successful Bound for Glory. We'll show you the recap next time. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.